Empire. Artificial intelligence at your fingertips, or in the case of soccer players, tippy toes.
You've probably seen those augmented reality tape measures where you can drop a pin at the left of a room corner and drag it to the right. It's actually quite accurate, and so we use that technology as well to help you map out a really accurate combine ball.
That's Andrew Hall, CEO of BallN, whose tech is helping players turn their phones into advanced learning training devices. This is the Future Sport Podcast. I'm Bram Weinstein. BallN is not just a training tool, it's morphed into a gamified experience for players of all levels to not only improve but to share their experience via digital player cards. What the company is hoping to do is marry sports and gaming in a way that promotes the physical activity. Our guest this week is Andrew Hall. He's the CEO of BallN, which is a company that has advanced artificial intelligence and augmented reality that turns your mobile phone into a powerful player and ball tracking tool to rate a player's soccer abilities. Hi, Andrew. How are you?
Doing great this morning, thank you. It's early morning here, night time, your time.
Yes, we're speaking to you all the way across the globe, Perth, Australia. Give me a little bit of a sense of the background of BallN. I know you guys went through a lot of R&D to make this happen. What was the genesis of the idea, and where did you land here with the app?
Yeah, look, it's been a quick overnight success of a 5-year journey so far to get here. But look, we've raised about $7.5 million for R&D, and we've just coming out now to commercially deploy the app. But it started back in actually 2016. My co-founder was a postdoc at MIT. He was a young Australian guy. And we just sort of got pretty excited about what artificial intelligence could do, measuring video feed actually on the mobile device. So we were like, here's a sport that doesn't have deep analytics at the player level yet. Here's these devices that are getting, extremely powerful and getting more so every 18 months. And we thought, what a great intersection. Like, I was a former semi-professional triathlete. We're like, what a great intersection to combine these two sort of tidal waves and see what happens. And look, we did release a predecessor app, which was just penalty kicking called My Kicks in 2018. We didn't know whether anybody would download this stuff, whether they'd use it, how they'd use it. And we were very lucky. It shot to number 1 on the UK Sports App Store at that time on some influencer marketing, and that was in the middle of the World Cup in 2018. And that really gave us our start. That got us noticed. I mean, we even dethroned the official FIFA app through the World Cup for a couple of days as the number 1 position. So that sort of got us started. Then we got picked up by UEFA, which is the Champions League. That's sort of the world's largest one-day annual sporting event, to go into the Innovation Accelerator. And then things really snowballed from there as we, secured one of the world's best professional players, Kevin De Bruyne, got an EPL club involved. And here we are after a lot of hard work. Still learning as we're in the market and sort of ready to scale the company.
All right, so let's get into some of the tech here a little bit. How can an app on my phone actually track me? Take me through the tech a little bit.
Yeah, look. So we do all of this on the device, which is the really special part. There are a lot of systems out there that could take your video and send it up into the cloud. But our target market, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, doesn't have really robust internet connections or large amounts of data. So what we do is we take a video feed. So if you think of a video feed, it's like your television. Each frame, it's a 2-dimensional frame. And then what we do is we've trained AI algorithms to work out what a ball is and what a human is very accurately. And then what we do is, we might collect 1,000 frames or 5,000 frames, which is the sequence of the video. And then what we do is we convert that 2D image into a 3-dimensional scene by looking at how that ball and that person moves through each of those images. So we can infer depth through the changing of the size of the object with reference to the frame. And that's where all the hard work is not only do you need to accurately, because if you're a pixel wrong, it places that person or ball in a very different part of that 3-dimensional scene. So, we spent a lot of time training the models to actually do the accurate detection, and then a lot of time developing all the physics and statistical smoothing models that sit over the top of that, and all that runs on your phone. And look, we got a little bit lucky in 2018. That MyKicks product actually collected over 1 million penalty kicks, and we were able to use that to really train the BallN to really detect humans and balls in all sorts of unusual real world conditions. So that training data set that we got from MyKicks has been so pivotal to be able to do this very accurately. That's the tech.
Does the phone have to be set up on a tripod and set up? How do you collect this?
Yeah, great question. So the first version MyKicks did, but this doesn't, which is even special. So we've designed it so it can be handheld by a parent, by a friend, and you literally use augmented reality to lay out the course. So it'll say, put cone A here that we're going to test on, cone B here, cone C, and you can use water bottles, cones. So you sort of overlay a physical world environment on top of the virtual world. You use your phone handheld, and you basically, you run the courses, right? And it gives you the statistical feedback on what your time is to complete it, or what your score is. And that's how we sort of benchmark you and, give you that real-time feedback on how do you compare to others in your age group and overall.
And
so
then
it's a bit like a combine in your pocket.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so you will need someone to actually get semi-clear video at a specific distance. I would assume here, right? Like this can't work from any particular distance.
That's right. So you can use a friend, or you can use a tripod. You can do both. And the app actually walks you through step by step where to place each cone, because the augmented reality that combines with the AI. Actually, you've probably seen those augmented reality tape measures where you can drop a pin at the left of a room corner and drag it to the right. It's actually quite accurate, and so we use that technology as well to help you map out a really accurate combine course.
And then I get the sense that you wanted to kind of gamify this too, right? I mean, it's not just like, here are your ratings, here's how you performed. That you kind of made a game out of this as well. Is that right?
Yeah, look, we actually changed our slogan about 6 months ago to play and improve with AI. So what we learned pretty quickly is that the hardcore, sort of sub-academy level player is really interested in the analytics. But what we really want to do is help the parents, help the kids improve a little bit by stealth. So it has to be fun and engaging. And we do borrow a lot from gamification techniques of, it's a bit like being in a real game sometimes. Within the app, you can hear the squeaks, the bleeps. You get all those reward mechanisms. And then as you get your results, we sort of really layer reward mechanisms on top of that. And then we sort of, we take you through a step-by-step, system where, you can build on experience points to actually, earn your overall player card. So we've learned that really, if it's not fun and engaging, that the kids just aren't going to do it. So we spent a lot of time this year really upping the gamification component of it, and it's worked really, really well.
So for the model in getting it out there, do you see this as, you want to kind of pitch this as a game to kids and parents, or is this a training tool for leagues and coaches and serious soccer players?
No, so to the kids, we pitch it as, come and have fun and engage with AI. And so we use influencer marketing to get that message out. We've been pretty strong in TikTok. So we have partnerships with people like Kevin De Bruyne, who aren't in TikTok yet, but we leverage their brand to other freestyler influencers in TikTok. And that works really well to get the awareness of the kids. We then have a separate marketing strategy for the parents. And eventually the two link up on the payment model. But for the parents, it's very much like, use AI to help your kids sort of progress and master their game quicker. And it's very much aimed at grassroots. We do have elite players in there, but we also have a lot of, lower division players in there who are just really after self-mastery as well.
You had mentioned earning a player card. Could you tell me what that means, to earn a player card?
Yeah, so I don't know if you ever played the game FIFA growing up by EA Sports.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of that game is based upon a player card where you're picking and choosing and trading players based upon their player card scores. So that is something that is quite desirable to the FIFA generation. So we lent into that concept pretty heavily with UEFA back in 2019, and so our player cards made up of 8 different skills. So we test your shooting, your dribbling, your passing, your first touch, your ball control, your reaction time, and some others as well. And then what we do is you get individual ratings on each of those skills that we test, but then you get an overall rating on your player card as well. And we've designed it to sort of really, I guess subversively help the kid really understand how to benchmark where they're at, because a lot of the time, it's very subjective about how you're going in the world of soccer. It's, when you should ask a kid, it's like, how do you know you're getting better? They kind of go, oh, I feel I got a better feel for the ball. I might have got an assist or a goal a couple of weeks ago. It's sort of, or I got told I was going well. We're trying to bring that objective, quantitative feedback at the level of the kid through a gamified system, so they can then be empowered to say, oh, I actually thought my dribbling might be better. I want to actually go and work on that. Or, yeah, my shooting is really good. I want to go out and even make it better. So we're trying to really give that information and democratize that kind of analytics that was previously only available to pros in specialized labs, at the grassroots level.
And then how do you present this? Because now all of a sudden I'm picturing, do the kids get to pick an avatar, pick a skin, present themselves in a way that's shareable through this app? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, it's a huge part of the growth model actually is user-generated content. So because it's kids, we don't allow, it's a closed ecosystem actually, so you can't communicate with another kid.
Yeah.
But what the kids do is as they earn their player cards, we've created a lot of animated skin graphics that sit over that, and we find that the kids are then sharing that within their own social networks to their friends, and that's a huge driver of our growth, because marketing's expensive to pay for, but we've sort of got a self-marketing machine built in that does that very well. And different times of the year, our plan is to release different type of player card animation skins to sort of refresh it and make it interesting, just like FIFA does as well.
What's your background? How did you get into this?
Yeah, so look, I've been a sports person across a variety of sports, including soccer, as we call it in the US and Australia. But actually, I worked in venture capital for about 20 years. So either as an advisor or a VC, and also as an entrepreneur. So I was advising a lot of some of the higher growth companies out of Australia for some time. And I really got, I actually did a fair bit in renewable energy, believe it or not, and back in the early 2010s. And then I really wanted to sort of combine this, my passion for sports, my passion for startups, and what I thought was a really interesting technology wave to get involved in. So, I wouldn't have been able to do this if I didn't have, that extensive background in this industry.
But you didn't have the background in technology. So can you kind of take me through learning about that part of it when you're not just investing in it, you're literally trying to build something like this?
Yeah, look. So my approach was always, you can learn a new field and become an expert in it in about 3 to 5 years. And I've done that in biotech. I've done that in renewable energy, in startup companies. But the way to do that is to partner with some really impressive people that have the expertise in that sort of technical domain. So my co-founder, David Budden, actually, he was part of a team that won the University World Robo Cup Soccer Championships back in, I think, 2014. So, why is that relevant? It's a bunch of robots chasing a ball around a field. And so a lot of that technical thinking about how to track had been done by David at that time. So we got a really fast technology head start through that. And then we were like, well, we think we understand the business of soccer, but we don't really. And that's why one of our early directors was a guy called Louis Giuliani, who's still a director today. He actually was on the board of Football West and did some international player transfers. So we very quickly upskilled in our understanding of the business of soccer, and then we were very lucky in 2018 to do a trial with Major League Soccer to understand that market. And then we went on to do a trial with UEFA to really understand the European market, and now. We have board observers that are from some of the top EPL clubs in the world that sort of advise us. So I guess we've been, as purest soccer people, we were really well received by the soccer market, and they really backed us and helped us really understand the business of soccer and take it forward. They saw us as product technical experts with a real passion, and they helped augment that capability, which was wonderful.
It's really interesting what you're building here. It feels like a true marriage of get kids outside to play, learn to improve, learn to love the game, and yet at the same time, marry with what a modern kid is into, which is gamification and esports and digital currency. Did that all was that kind of the vision for this, or did that kind of all come together as things matriculated through the process?
It's come together as we've matriculated through the process. So when we started, we didn't feel there was any issue with kids getting outside to do sport. But even over our short 5 years doing this, that has changed quite significantly, like we've seen it in our data. So we used to see differences between winter and summer usage. And then about a year ago, we saw the winter usage and the summer usage really drop for no unexpected reason other than the kids have changed a bit in Gen Z. They've become much more attached to their devices. Through COVID, there's less kids going outside as well, especially unsupervised. So in fact, we actually augmented our platform to do a lot of what we call indoor AI, where we can enable the kids to get their first ratings literally from their bedroom on reaction time and juggling and ball control. And then we saw our usage really explode again as we sort of supported that indoor gamified experience, which was still relevant to the game. So things are changing. Like we're at the front of seeing that data firsthand. I think you need to be incredibly engaging to get a Gen Alpha and a Gen Z moving. But it's not that they're lazy. They're not lazy at all. They just really want to with technology. And we do have a couple of conversations going on about what we call gaming for good with some very big international organizations about, well, what are we going to do about this, supposed Gen Z, Gen Alpha obesity epidemic? And we do feel that the whole home AI-based indoor gym is a very interesting extension of the BallN product as we grow.
It's very interesting. Andrew Hall is the CEO of BallN. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure.
On the next Future Sport podcast, the highlight is becoming almost as exclusive as the game itself.
It's my understanding that before working with us, the NBA would send the 50 best highlights from the night all over the world. Now, if they have a customer in the Philippines who want just a specific set of highlights from the favorite player in the region, they can set rules in advance and say, when this game is over, send this highlight video to this region, send this highlight video to that region of the world.
That's David Gavant, business executive with WSC Sports, where the curation of instant highlights may be changing the rights game. That will do it for this episode. As always, the future is now. This is the Future Sport Podcast. I'm Bram Weinstein.